It's impossible, I think, to talk about the greatness of Lord of the Rings without bringing up its Catholic foundation. So, which we've spoken to some already. God is so closely mirrored between the two. Divine Providence is so closely mirrored between the two. You get the sense that there is an intelligent will at work. Because Gandalf is sent 1,000 years ahead of time to combat Sauron. He is sent by he's an angel, and he's sent by the higher angels of the universe, who are the closest agents to the God of the universe that
and he doesn't even really know
can
when
interact
he's
with.
sent. He just knows that he's sent to do something.
Yeah, because something's up with his memory when he comes. Same with all of the Istari.
He has an idea that something is afoot with Bilbo when he finds the ring. Not
Well, no, that's
positive
all.
what it is, and he knows what the ring is. But he is... It's not like he spent that entire time thinking, oh, I have been sent to help Frodo Baggins destroy the ring in whatever year and help usher in the Fourth Age. No.
Yeah, no, he is sent to combat Sauron. But yeah, he doesn't know what that's going to entail. And neither do the rest of the Astari, and that's why 4 of them fail their quest at the end.
The two blues just disappeared.
The blues arguably came...
Who knows
They
what
arguably
happened to
came the
Radagast.
closest. Yeah, the blues were like the second best, because I believe they actually held back Sauron a lot in the east. But eventually Tolkien believes that they
fell.
They fell and started their own secret cults and such. So, fun stuff.
And who knows what happened to Radagast? He probably just stayed in his hut with his animals.
He saw a bunny for the first time and just fell right there.
Like, ooh, wildlife.
Yep.
And he became Middle-earth's one and only naturalist.
Mm-hmm. We know well enough what happened to Saruman. He died as Sharky in Bag End. So Gandalf actually did it. And just as one example of divine providence, there's enough things that go right. There's enough things that go right when they need to influence against the odds to influence the story towards a good ending, while also not taking away anything from the free will of the characters themselves, and while keeping the stakes high. Like, there are ways this can get screwed up. Just because you have divine providence on your side does not mean that you will win. Yeah. It means that God will win.
Just because God saves you, that doesn't mean he approves of every single thing that you do.
Yep, and he has other ways to win than besides you. So he wants you to be a part of his work, but you have to be a part of his work. And if I may read from the Silmarillion, one of my favorite lines that I have referenced before in this podcast and am not done referencing. Because the Silmarillion contains a lot of the mythology of Lord of the Rings, including the creation myth. And the Lord of the Rings has its own version of Satan. Not trying to be, but that's just kind of how it went. And so the world is sung into existence via great music that the highest angels, the Ainur, which I believe are the Valar, and Gandalf's order, the whatever they are, I forget. The highest of them is Melkor. He's the most powerful of them. He begins to sing his own music. Then Iluvatar brings up a second music. Melkor does his own version of that, and this goes back and forth 3 times. Iluvatar stops it and says, "Mighty are the Ainur, and mightiest among them is Melkor, but that he may know, and all the Ainur, the other angelic beings, that I am Iluvatar. Those things that ye have sung, including Melkor's, mind you, I will show them forth, that you may see what ye have done. And thou, Melkor, shalt see that no theme may be played that hath not its uttermost source in me, nor can any alter the music in my despite. For he that attempteth this shall prove but mine instrument in the devising of things more wonderful, which he himself hath not imagined." In other words... It would
surprise me if those were the exact words that God said to the devil when he rebelled.
It honestly wouldn't be. It's not that I approve of your work, I clearly don't, but because I exist, because I am, and because you are a mere creation of mine, which I hold in existence, all that you can do, like everything you can destroy of my work will ultimately still redound to my glory. You know? And I'll let the bad happen. It'll still redound to my glory because you having the free will to do that is more glorious than you not.
See the Book of Job and the Vision of Leo the 13th.
And so if anybody is struggling with the problem of evil listening this evening, I give you that as your answer. Yeah, free will actually matters. The ability to love matters, and that involves, the ability to screw up, the ability to cause catastrophic harm. But it's worth it. One of many examples where the morality of Lord of the Rings matches our own. You know, what counts as a good man, what counts as a good decision in Lord of the Rings, also generally counts as a good man and a good decision in our world. There aren't many examples to the contrary. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
No, I don't think anybody would say that Theoden made a bad decision in deciding to give answer when the beacons were lit and Gondor called for aid.
Mm-hmm.
But also, just to circle back really quick to your point about how everything happens at its proper time. If we take Pelennor Fields, the Riders of Rohan, and likewise the Men of the Dead, led by Aragorn, appear at exactly the right time. They appear soon enough that the orcs have not already basically won, and aren't able to just turn around and defeat them too.
Mm-hmm.
But they also appear late enough that the orcs cannot recover from their entry into the battle. It's exactly the right time, strategically, when you would want your assistance to appear. It's a good comparison to the lifting of the siege of Vienna in 1683. That had to have taken place according to divine providence. The winged hussars charged down that hill at exactly the right time that the Ottoman forces were not able to recover from it. If they had come too late, the Ottomans would have taken the city. And if they had come too early, the Ottomans would have been able to recover or see them coming.
But no, there was a time appointed.
It's very much like at Pelennor Fields. Had it been too early, the orcs would have seen the Riders of Rohan coming. Had it been too late, they would have already taken Minas Tirith. Does that mean it's a good thing that Gondorian lives were lost in the process? No. That does not mean that Iluvatar approves of the fact that Gondorian men, good, brave, noble Gondorian men, were killed in the time it took for the Riders of Rohan to get there. But ultimately, the orcs were defeated. They were routed.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they breached the gate. Which, to anybody that knows about medieval warfare, when you breach the gate of a castle, that's it. In nearly every historical instance of a gate of a castle being breached, that's it. The battle's won. Doesn't matter how many archers you have in the murder hole, waiting just to rain arrows down on your men that come through. When your gate is breached, you've basically lost. But even after that, the Riders of Rohan appeared at just the right time, that they were able just to lay complete waste. They and the Men of the Dead. Because they start to lose again, even after the Riders of Rohan appear. Then the Men of the Dead appear, led by Aragorn. On top of that, there is a poetry to hope arriving in the most hopeless time. Everything looks hopeless. We look like it seems like we've already been defeated. And then the Rohirrim right across the hill. And they charge. Mm-hmm. But then later on we start losing again. And we start feeling hopeless, like we've already been defeated. And then what is that coming from over there by the river? A wave of dead men has washed over the enemy, led by a king who has held them to their oath. So not only do we have more reinforcements, not only do we have that hope, but we also can see, and maybe are told, that that force is led by our true king, who has been gone for far too long.
Mm-hmm.
It's the greatest hope appearing in the most hopeless time. Then after that battle is won, your king says, guess what, we're not done yet. Now we attack. Now we go to the Black Gate, and we meet Sauron there. One last time.
I will be the stickler for canon and address a question that will now come up in the room, which is...
The films were in my head, not the books.
Yes, yeah. In the books, the dead men do not come because Aragorn releases them at the Stone of Tol Erec. Or he releases them when they take the Corsair ships down in Umbar. That's it. But the ships then come up. They look like Corsair ships. They look like ships from Umbar. They look like reinforcements from Mordor.
But the Corsairs do not come.
They do not. But the hearts of the orcs are uplifted. And Eomer, the commander on the battlefield, because Theoden's fallen at this point, looks up and he sees what looks like his doom. And so what does he do? I forget precisely, but essentially he holds up his sword and his spear and says, and he acts valiantly in the face of utter despair. And then is given the most pleasant surprise in the world when he realizes it's not utter despair, it's salvation, and it is the king returning. And his companions, and the Dunedain.
Oh,
bearing
I forgot
aloft
the
this,
Dunedain were there.
bearing aloft the standard that Arwen herself made for Aragorn.
Yeah, that is better. I don't know why Peter Jackson did his thing.
I mean, what he did was pretty cool. Like, this is an argument for why the
visual
movies
effect of
are
it.
awesome.
For
Yeah,
the visual effect of it, yeah.
absolutely. It still fits.